Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Monday, October 13th, 2025, and you're listening to Alex's News. The high in Riverside today is 70.7 degrees, with a low of 57.2, so expect a mild fall day perfect for getting out and enjoying the crisp air. Coming up, we'll examine the reasons behind President Trump's warnings to Russia over potential Tomahawk missile strikes in support of Ukraine, and break down the factors driving the sharp rise in measles cases across the United States this year. Plus, other top stories on global tensions, health alerts, and local updates. All this and more on Alex's News. Stay tuned. Good morning, everyone. Our first story this morning involves a bold threat from President Trump that could change the game in the Ukraine conflict. Yesterday, aboard Air Force One headed to Israel, he warned Russia about potentially sending Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine if the war does not end soon. Joining me now to break this down is our foreign affairs reporter, Ethan. Ethan, this sounds like quite the Tomahawk chop in diplomacy, does it not?
Absolutely, Grace, and it's no small swing. According to reporting from CNBC and ABC News yesterday, October 12th, President Trump made this stark warning while departing Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, even as rain poured down and an aide held an umbrella over him, as captured in photos by Reuters and Associated Press photographer Evan Vucci. Trump called the Tomahawk an incredible, very offensive weapon, and basically told Vladimir Putin that Russia does not need Tomahawks flying in their direction. He said he might personally message Putin, quote, "If this war is not going to get settled, I am going to send them Tomahawks," end quote. But he left it flexible, saying we may not, but we may do it, predicting a quick peace would make Putin look great, while dragging it out would not be good for him.
Fascinating shift from Trump. For folks unfamiliar, can you explain what these Tomahawk missiles are and why they are such a big deal for Ukraine?
Sure, Grace. Tomahawk cruise missiles are long-range, precision-guided weapons, primarily launched from ships or submarines, but adaptable to ground systems too. Newer variants like Block IV, also known as Tactical Tomahawk or TACTOM, can reach up to 2,600 kilometers and even be retargeted mid-flight. As the Hindu reported today, October 13th, Ukraine has been pushing for them to strike deep into Russian territory, hitting military logistics, airfields, command centers, and energy hubs, without needing to give up land in talks. This comes after a productive phone call yesterday between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, where they discussed boosting air defenses, resilience, long-range capabilities, and the energy sector amid Russia's attacks on infrastructure, per ABC News.
And Zelensky himself weighed in recently, right? How does this fit with Trump's evolving stance?
Yes, in a Fox News interview on the Sunday briefing, Zelensky said he is waiting for the president to yes on Tomahawks, alongside more ATACMS missiles, noting talks started as far back as Friday, October 10th, according to ABC News. As for Trump's stance, it's a real pivot. Remember, Trump won his second non-consecutive term on January 20th this year, beating Kamala Harris in the November 2024 election, as confirmed by sources like Wikipedia, CBS News, and The Hindu. Early on, he criticized U.S. aid and suggested Ukraine cede Crimea and Donbass. But since inauguration, he has toughened up. Last month in September 2025, he said Ukraine could reclaim all lost territory, breaking from some Republican views per CNBC and ABC News. This builds on July warnings of tariffs if the war stalled, and August cautions of severe consequences without a summit, as covered by Time, CBS News, and NDTV.
Russia is not taking this lightly. What are they saying?
Swift and strong pushback, Grace. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov expressed extreme concern yesterday, calling it a new step of aggression, and saying the war is at a very dramatic moment with tensions from all sides, according to CNBC, The Hindu Today, and the Irish Times. Putin warned it would seriously damage U.S.-Russia relations, trigger a qualitatively new escalation stage, maybe even direct American military involvement, as reported by The Hindu, India Today, and Arab News Today. He downplayed their impact, saying Russian forces would adapt quickly without changing the force balance, per YON. But former President Dmitry Medvedev went darker today, warning it could end badly for everyone, especially Trump, since nuclear-armed Tomahawks look like conventional ones in flight, risking miscalculation and nuclear fears, as in the Irish Times, the Moscow Times, and Yahoo News. Earlier in September, Russian parliament member Andrei Kartopolov said U.S. personnel helping launches would be targets via WHAS-11.
Logistically, is this feasible? Ukraine lacks ships for these, I hear.
Spot on, Grace, and that is the biggest hurdle. No concrete U.S. actions yet as of today, October 13th, with talks on technical details since October 10th, but no Defense Department notices or sales cases publicized, suggesting quiet diplomacy per the Kyiv Independent, Army Recognition, and The Guardian today. Production is limited, 55 to 90 missiles yearly, with Raytheon getting a $400 million contract this year for 131 new Block V missiles for U.S. and allies like Australia and Japan, as TWZ and Naval News report. Stockpiles are thin from Navy use, and delivery could take months or years for training and integration, according to the Economic Times and Euromaidan Press. For launchers, Ukraine might use ground-based Typhoon systems from the U.S. Army, operational since 2023 with truck-mounted vertical launchers that fired overseas in July, but only 2 experimental batteries exist, per overt defense and Army recognition. They could adapt their own mobile launchers or wield naval versions, as a Ukrainian Navy spokesperson confirmed to TSN.ua and Vonodilo.
Legally, what is the path? And broader impacts?
Under the Arms Export Control Act of 1976, Tomahawks are major equipment needing State Department licenses and end-use deals, with Congress getting 30 days to review sales over $14 million, though blocks are rare, as New America and Defense Trade explained today. They are Missile Technology Control Regime Category 1 items, usually denied, but allies like the UK, Japan, Australia, Netherlands, Germany, and Philippines have gotten them or requested, per SIPRI, IISS, State.gov, and Congress.gov. For Ukraine, it would supercharge strikes beyond ATACMS 300-kilometer range, but Zelensky promises only military targets, no civilians, unlike Russia, per RFERL and Hermatsky. Trump wants to understand their use to avoid escalation, possibly with fewer restrictions, as PBS and AEI note. Yet, with Russia's overnight strikes yesterday on Odessa power and Kyiv drones killing 4, urgency grows before winter, via The Hindu and LiveMint. Analysts see a strategic dilemma pressure Putin, but risk nuclear mix-ups or direct U.S.-Russia clash, per the war zone and national interest. A senior Ukrainian delegation visits this week to push weapons talks, ABC News says. No transfer imminent, but this is pivotal.
Phew, Ethan, that is a missile with a message. Thanks for unpacking all those details for us. Good morning, everyone. As we wrap up our morning broadcast with our second story, the United States is facing a measles outbreak that's not just alarming, but a full-blown crisis, the worst in over 30 years. With me now is our health correspondent, Chloe, here in the studio to break it down. Chloe, what's the latest on this surge?
Grace, as of today, October 13th, 2025, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports 1,563 confirmed measles cases across 42 states and territories, based on their October 8th update. That's a massive jump from 285 cases in 2024 and the highest since 1992. According to NPR's health reporter Maria Godoy in her October 12th article in the Shots Health News section, the outbreak season is not done yet, and experts like Dr. Paul Offit from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia estimate the real number could hit 5,000 due to underreporting from state health officials.
That's staggering, Chloe. Can you explain what measles elimination status means and why we're at risk of losing it?
Sure, Grace. Measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. in 2000, meaning no continuous domestic transmission for at least 12 months. But with this resurgence, driven by low vaccination rates and cases imported from global hotspots like India and Africa, we're teetering on the edge. The World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization warn the U.S. is on the verge of losing that status. We have until January 2026 to stop the chains of transmission, which is about 80 days from now, or it gets revoked, just like Canada is facing right now with their 5,024 cases and an October deadline that's just passed.
And the outbreaks seem widespread. Which areas are hit hardest, and why are unvaccinated folks bearing the brunt?
Absolutely, Grace. Outbreaks in 41 to 42 states, including Alabama, Alaska, all the way to Wyoming. In South Carolina, the Department of Public Health reported 11 cases as of October 9th, with 7 in Spartanburg County since September 25th, leading to a 21-day quarantine for over 150 unvaccinated kids at Global Academy and Fair Forest Elementary. NPR detailed a new case in Greenville County on October 10th that's unlinked, signaling active community spread, as state epidemiologist Dr. Linda Bell told them. Minnesota Public Radio News covered Minnesota's surge to 20 cases by October 10th, with 3 new ones in Dakota County from travel links. But the biggest cluster is on the Arizona-Utah border, over 100 cases combined per KJZZ and state health departments, with Arizona's 63 mostly in Mojave County, where kindergarten vaccination rates were a dismal 7% last year. Nearly all cases, 92%, are in unvaccinated people or those with unknown status, and kids under 5 make up 27%.
Heartbreaking details on the impacts. Hospitalizations and deaths are up too, right? And what's measles contagiousness like, for folks who don't know?
Yes, Grace, it's spotty business with this highly contagious virus, infecting up to 18 unvaccinated people per case and hanging in the air for 2 hours. About 1 in 8 cases leads to hospitalization, a 12 to 17% rate. Tragically, 3 deaths this year, 2 unvaccinated kids in Texas and 1 adult in New Mexico, the first since 2015. Back in pre-vaccine days, 400 to 500 Americans died yearly. Texas saw 762 cases in West Texas by March, with 2 child deaths in Gaines County, per the Texas Department of State Health Services and NPR.
Vaccination rates are key here. What's causing the decline, and how does policy play in?
National kindergarten MMR rates are at 92.5% for this school year, down from 95.2% in 2019-2020, leaving 286,000 kids unprotected, per CDC data analyzed by NPR and The Washington Post. Non-medical exemptions hit a record 3.6%, over 5% in 17 states. COVID disruptions caused millions of missed doses, but experts say it's worsened under Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., appointed February 13, 2025. NPR's Godoy noted his past vaccine skepticism, like debunked autism links, despite recent support for MMR as a personal choice. His June overhaul of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices purged experts for critics, per PBS NewsHour and the Los Angeles Times. A KFF poll in August showed half of Americans see major policy shifts, and 6 former surgeons general warned in the New York Times in October it endangers health. A UCLA health study estimates a 2 to 3% further drop in uptake by year's end.
Public health responses sound urgent. What are officials doing?
The CDC activated a Level 3 incident management structure in March for tracing and quarantines. States like South Carolina enforce 21-day isolations, Minnesota partners with schools, and Utah, Arizona use wastewater testing to track spread. The MMR vaccine is our best shot, saving hundreds of lives yearly. As Dr. Adam Ratner told NPR, we need to boost coverage to 95% through education, or these pockets of opportunity for the virus will keep measles from being a thing of the past.
Chloe, thanks for that thorough rundown on this preventable yet persistent problem. We appreciate your insights. Here are some other headlines. Twin tempests are taking a coast-to-coast bite out of the United States. In New Jersey, acting Governor Tahisha Way has declared a state of emergency across all 21 counties as a potent nor'easter muscles in. Forecasters warn of moderate to major coastal flooding, winds whipping up to 60 miles per hour, and as much as 5 inches of rain. Meteorologists say the bullseye for surge and flooding stretches from northeastern North Carolina to the Jersey Shore, so residents are being urged to batten the hatches and mind the tides, because this storm could really surely make waves. On the nation's far frontier, western Alaska is awash in devastation as the remnants of Typhoon Halong lash coastal villages. Hurricane-force gusts have pushed homes clean off their foundations in communities like Kipnuk and Quigilingok. Governor Mike Dunleavy has declared a disaster, triggering state assistance, while Homeland Security officials confirm houses have floated away and search and rescue teams are racing to find the unaccounted for. It's a sobering reminder that in Alaska's flood of troubles, there's no time to tread water. A trio of economic heavyweights has scored the 2025 Nobel in Economic Sciences. Joel Mokyr, Philippe Aghion, and Peter Howitt are honored for having explained innovation-driven economic growth. Mokyr takes half the prize for mapping the preconditions that let technology blossom. Aghion and Howitt split the rest for their theory of creative destruction, the churn where tomorrow's tools retire yesterday's rules. It's a laureate lesson in how invention pays the rent, and how economies need the right greenhouse to grow breakthrough ideas in an era of AI, chips, and rapid change. The Nobel Peace Prize shines a spotlight on Venezuela, awarded to opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, for her tireless push for democratic rights and a peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. The committee praised her as a unifying force and an extraordinary example of civilian courage. Living in hiding after being barred from last year's presidential race, she dedicated the honor to the suffering people of Venezuela. The prize is expected to galvanize the opposition, raise global pressure on Nicolas Maduro's government, and potentially turn the Peace Prize into a piece of political leverage. In Lima, Peru has flipped another page in its political page-turner. Congress impeached Dina Boluarte for permanent moral incapacity, and Jose Harry, a 38-year-old lawyer and head of Congress, was sworn in as president just after midnight. He becomes the 7th leader since 2016, vowing to wage war on crime, form a broad-based cabinet, and shepherd the country toward 2026 elections. In a nation that exports copper, it's a leadership shuffle with real metal, and markets will watch for signals of stability. And in a high-stakes tango with the markets, Washington has launched a $20 billion financial rescue for Argentina. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent unveiled a currency swap with the central bank and even direct purchases of pesos, an unusually hands-on move to ease acute illiquidity. President Javier Milei thanked the administration as bonds and stocks rallied, but critics in Congress propose a No Argentina Bailout Act, arguing domestic budgets shouldn't foot a foreign bill. For Buenos Aires, the lifeline could be the difference between crisis and pesosativity. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 4.0, Gemini Pro 2.5, Gemini Flash 2.5, and Google Cloud Text-to-Speech. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.